Boys, you're dealing with the devil, and you got burnt, made a gamble. Easy to forget, but life is fragile. When I know your first instincts to scramble, but listen to me ramble for a minute. Maybe I can help you find a handle on the situation. Maybe you can travel to these other lands and battle when the devils they've been rattled, trample ample horses in their own keep. Going 30 schmoes deep, Cuphead turned into the boogeyman and no sleep for my adversary. The alternative, beware it's scary. You'll lose that little Cuphead and your good is buried. I'm a man of my word, do this and I'll send you on your merry way. Only got two choices anyway, so make it. Otherwise I'll turn you into bacon. This is Satan that you're dealing with. My threats are never faking. Never faking anything I say. So do we have a deal? Oh, we do? Well, I guess I won't have to make you thrill.
Hey, Cuphead, yes, Boogman. Why we roll the bones with Beelzebub? We can make a plan, roam around the land, do the devil's dirty work instead. Hey, Mugman. Yes, Cuphead. Why we roll the bones with Beelzebub? We can make a plan, roam around the land,
I don't know, Mug. The thought of me fighting, I wanna throw up. I'm just a cop, not a Viking. I'm fighting to show up. I know it's all about surviving, but what if they have lightning? I'll be dying anyway, so what's the point of even hiking and doing the devil's bidding? Well, you have a valid observation. We can die or take a small vacation and take our chances against a mob of different races and different species and sizes and see you rise as victorious. Not fighting for glory, but man is glorious. Who thought a couple of cups could be labeled battle warriors? Carrots or potatoes, they're all getting halos. So if you are a boss, my suggestion is you lay low. So we have a deal, I'm ready to sign on my dotted lines. I don't wanna die, I'd be giving up if I don't try. Mugman, let's go, battling demons, conquering the land, all in the name of freedom.
Hey, Cuphead, yes, Boogman. Why we roll the bones with Beelzebub? We can make a plan, roam around the land, do the devil's dirty work instead. Hey, Mugman. Yes, Cuphead. Why we roll the bones with Beelzebub? We can make a plan, roam around the land, do the devil's dirty work instead.
Well, guess.
Circus, Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it, move it, move it, move it.
Section 2 of the Book of Enoch, chapters 1 through 11. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapters 1 through 5, Parable of Enoch on the future lot of the wicked and the righteous. Chapter 1. The words of the blessing of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the elect and righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and godless are to be removed. And he took up his parable and said, Enoch, a righteous man, whose eyes were opened by God, saw the vision of the Holy One in the heavens, which the angels showed me. And from them I heard everything, and from them I understood as I saw, but not for this generation, but for a remote one which is for to come. Concerning the elect I said, and took up my parable concerning them, the Holy Great One will come forth from his dwelling, and the eternal God will tread upon the earth, even on Mount Sinai, and appear from his camp, and appear in the strength of his might from the heaven of heavens. And all shall be smitten with fear, and the watchers shall quake, and great fear and trembling shall seize them unto the ends of the earth. And the high mountains shall be shaken, and the high hills shall be made low, and shall melt like wax before the flame. And the earth shall be wholly rent in sunder, and all that is upon the earth shall perish, and there shall be a judgment upon all men. But with the righteous he will make peace, and will protect the elect, and mercy shall be upon them. And they shall all belong to God, and they shall be prospered, and they shall all be blessed. And he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. And behold, he cometh with 10,000 of his holy ones, to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their ungodliness which they have ungodly committed, and of all the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. Chapter 2. Observe ye everything that takes place in the heaven, how they do not change their orbits, and the luminaries which are in the heaven, how they all rise, and set in order each in its season, and transgress not against their appointed order. Behold ye the earth, and give heed to the things which take place upon it, from first to last, how steadfast they are, how none of the things upon the earth change, but all the works of God appear to you. Behold the summer and the winter, how the whole earth is filled with water, and clouds and dew and rain lie upon it. Chapter 3. Observe and see how in the winter all the trees seem as though they had withered and shed all their leaves, except 14 trees, which do not lose their foliage, but retain the old foliage from 2 to 3 years till the new comes. Chapter 4. And again observe ye the days of summer, how the sun is above the earth over against it, and you seek shade and shelter by reason of the heat of the sun, and the earth also burns with growing heat, and so you cannot tread on the earth or on a rock by reason of its heat. Chapter 5. Observe ye how the trees cover themselves with green leaves and bear fruit. Wherefore give ye heed, and know with regard to all his works, and recognize how he that liveth forever hath made them so. And all his works go on thus from year to year forever, and all the tasks which they accomplish for him, and their tasks change not, but according as God hath ordained, so is it done. And behold how the sea and the rivers in like manner accomplish and change not their tasks from his commandments. But ye have not been steadfast, nor done the commandments of the Lord, but ye have turned away and spoken proud and hard words with your impure mouths against his greatness. O ye hard-hearted, ye shall find no peace. Therefore shall ye execrate your days, and the years of your life shall perish, and the years of your destruction shall be multiplied in eternal execration, and ye shall find no mercy. In those days ye shall make your names an eternal execration unto all the righteous, and by you shall all who curse, curse, and all the sinners and godless shall imprecate by you. And for you, the godless, there shall be a curse, and all the shall rejoice, and there shall be forgiveness of sins, and every mercy and peace and forbearance. There shall be salvation unto them, a godly light. And for all of you sinners there shall be no salvation, but on you all shall abide a curse. But for the elect there shall be light, and joy, and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. And then there shall be bestowed upon the elect wisdom, and they shall all live and never again sin, either through ungodliness or through pride. But they who are wise shall be humble, and they shall not again transgress, nor shall they sin all the days of their life, nor shall they die of the divine anger or wrath. But they shall complete the number of the days of their life. And their lives shall be increased in peace, and the years of their joy shall be multiplied, in eternal gladness and peace all the days of their life.
Sorry I got stuck in a past life flashback. Pontius Pilate gloating over me in my cell telling me that he was going to have me killed, and he would make sure the history books would be sure to blame the Jews as being guilty for my execution, and there was nothing he said that I could do about it. Yeah, I remember the grief, betrayal, and abandonment he felt as he gave his last breath, and I, the light-born one within the Son of Man, shot out like a bolt of lightning and went straight to Caesar's palace and tore his tapestry in the throne room and cracked the marble floor straight from the wall to the throne. It was a setup. After the Last Supper, I went to the garden where I met with Matthias, who had brought me word that they were going to execute my brother James for crimes involving the Jewish traditional movement and conspiracy against the Emperor of Rome. I took the blame so that they would spare him. That is who they really let go in the trial. They had to choose who they would execute for the riots caused by the movement that began Judaism. I professed my guilt and pleaded they release him, but it was all a setup orchestrated by the Pharisee scribes of Abraham, the Hebrew council of the Sanhedrin priests that planned it. They revealed this to me after I was in my cell, that they had wanted me from the beginning, and I willing walked into my death just as they planned, but going through and seeing what I have in this life, bearing the title of Lucifer. I've seen how far. He will go to bring about his grand design and ensure his Apollyon was prepared to stop the Red Dragon. I can't help but wonder, was he behind Pilate in that whole scene just to make sure I died on the cross as per his design as well? No, but neither was Satan, because I remember seeing him in the crowd as I walked towards Golgotha. And he was there until I died. It was him that spoke through one of the soldiers and said, "If you're the Son of God, then just come down off the cross." Surely the Son of God could do this and spare himself such a death, considering God had told Gabriel to go and get him to secretly take me away within the underground tunnels of his order at the time. He was under the name of Bacchus then, and he had an underground coven of blood drinkers that were the elite hiding their opulence under the dark religion of vampirism. This ritual has been in place since the days of Mount Hermon, when the regime had used fornication and acts that they knew offended God in order to hide their meeting in secrecy as they resurrected their fallen rebellious fathers through their inherited power and altered our angelic foundations, allowing us to rise up in war against heaven and strike our own maker. Ever since then, they have used this ritual of hedonism to mask the activities of their meetings, but I have something to say on that. Considering how much I know about this, and always have, meaning I wouldn't be able to have known about this prior to it all unless heaven had always known, and they just let you think they didn't. From the meeting upon the mount to the condemnation of Sodom and Gomorrah, to Babylon, to Bacchus, to the tradition of black mass and the fire pits. All that time thinking that this ritual would actually work that way, but they had fallen so far from heaven, I guess, that they no longer heard God or could understand the way he works. The acts of sin attract the attention of God, especially if it is a severe sin and especially if it endangers the individual or those around them. Why do you think that people who use LSD have such intense visuals and even visions sometimes when they're tripping? Because they just knowingly ingested an X amount of poison and could die because of it soon. No, manipulations of the heavens. They acted out mock scenarios of sin in order to manipulate the ways of the heavenly hosts. Sodom, Gomorrah, Babylon, they all practiced this ritual. It was labeled as hedonism back then and shuffled without explanation into the scripture. I remember the scribes of the Hebrew council coming to my mother's house when I was young. They were angry because my immaculate conception denounced their law against sexual acts being a sin, period. They argued with my father and told him that she was an adulterer and that a child of immaculate birth could not come from such an act of transgression. I remember my earthly father, Joseph, telling me that those men that came that day have set themselves against me, and so I must be cautious whenever going to offer our weekly homage to the temple, that they may try to provoke me into performing some illusion, and that they were serpents, so do not play to their words and simply say nothing. Let him speak for me if they should walk up with conversation. A week or so later, we went to the temple because the scribes wanted to test me to see if I was the chosen child that had come to fulfill the promise of the God of the great shepherd, the prophet of the mountain, Abraham, whom they called the great teacher. While my father was protesting the public display surely meant to bring harm to a child so young, I walked over to a cornerstone of the temple's foundation. As a carpenter's son, I could see foundation was not set properly, and that if I shifted the weight of this one pillar's support, then the whole temple would come down. As the priests called for the Roman soldiers to have my father beat and arrested, I walked over to the pillar and put my hands around it and turned the support pillar so it slid just a little, and the whole temple cracked and crumbled apart, small pieces at first, then the whole ceiling caved in, and the temple walls came crashing along with it. The priests tried to say I did it out of fury and anger, but a janissary who was in the area came and looked into my eyes and then said, "I have condemned many men for crimes of violence and anger. All who I have judged guilty of their deeds have always had the darkness of evil in their eyes. This boy has no such taint of evil in him." Therefore, he is not guilty of this. It is poor craftsmanship that is to blame here, not this boy. And say not another word against this child or his father. For it are you priests who are guilty of a crime here. Why did you not tell these people that the foundation was not set properly, and in doing so endangered all their lives, and then hauled the men away to be whipped with the lash in the center of the square? When we got home, my father told my mother what happened, and she almost lost it and ran over and hugged me and wouldn't let go for a long time. Then she said that we were never to speak about what happened again. And Judas didn't betray Jesus for being Jesus like everyone thinks. He overheard Jesus and Matthias speaking about his plan to take my brother's place, and brought the Roman soldiers telling them of my plans he overheard. With all of us having been dragged into the courtyard, the captain asked which one he heard conspiring against the law, which one is the brother they called Jesus. Judas walked up and kissed my cheek, a tradition of Rome at the time. Whenever someone steps forward to betray a friend or family member, the kiss upon the cheek was a sign of their open betrayal for the sake of the Roman Empire. Instead of being held accountable for acts of treachery to those who trust you, or against those bound by blood, you would receive immediate anonymity and paid for their risking themselves for the sake of the Roman Empire. 30 gold pieces as a show of gratitude, as long as they never speak on it again.
Oh! Hello? Is this thing on? Testing? Testing!
Well, I heard you loud and clear.
Oh, I'm here because I want to help.
Evil is his one and only name.
Why does anyone do anything? Sheer, absolute boredom! This ridiculous thing you're trying to do.
When your name is evil, that is good, or so you think.
Does this mean that you think it's possible to rehabilitate a demon?
Of course not! That's wacky nonsense! Redemption, oh, the non-existent humanity! No. I don't think there's anything left that could save such loathsome sinners.
His subtle ways invite you. Excite you.
Oh, you're going to need more than that. And what can you do, my effeminate fellow?
I can suck your dick.
Ah, no.
Your loss.
I want to watch the scum of the world struggle to climb up the hill of betterment, only to repeatedly trip and tumble down to the final pit of failure. Here, if I wanted to hurt anyone here, I would have done so already.